What's good, everybody? You know what time it is. It is time for Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com, a iHeart radio station. The number to get with us, 708-223-8953. Or you can link us up with us through Facebook Live or even Twitter/X or whatever you want to call it, live. Now, everybody, you know who we are. We are the three guys that's going to bring it to you real and do our best to make us all happy ever after. You know what I mean? All right, folks, check this out. Today, we're going to speak on AI. Yes, AI, everybody. Ooh. Artificial intelligence. The good, the bad, and maybe just the ugly. Now, everyone, think about the movies, The Matrix, The Terminator, and if you want to show your age, like I'm about to right now, war games. AI has been introduced to us for decades, yet still, AI is the door to somewhat of the unknown. And since it seems like AI is going to be a staple within all of our futures, it is our job to shed the light to the unknown. Now, you know, as usual, I got, like I said, the greats here, Mr. Timothy Evans, right, and the boss man, Mike B.
What up?
So let's get this started. Mr. Evans, talk to us.
Well, today I wanted to discuss what I thought would be a good topic. I wanted to get on GTP4. That is a AI system that that millions of people are using right now to help them write articles, help them learn languages, and we definitely have to have a discussion on if it is a good thing or a bad thing that these AI components are getting into our society, and you know how we should be using these things.
All right, come on, talk to us, Mike.
I reject the premise of Chat GPT, or as we call these chat boxes. Chat GPT is one that is I guess you call the grandfather of them all. But what we're calling chat bots are these intuitive AI engines. And for those who don't know, AI stands for artificial intelligence. I reject the premise of whether or not they are good or bad. They are tools. Tools that are meant to facilitate and ease our human existence. It is the next evolution in what we are moving towards. It is no more evil than when we move from transistors to microchips.
But okay, you reject the thought process of that.
I reject the premise.
The premise. Okay.
I reject the premise, not the thought process.
Excuse me. All right. The premise.
I reject the premise
and I
of
will
whether
go ahead.
of whether or not they are good or bad. It's like saying, you know, was it bad when we went from 8 tracks to cassette tapes?
I get that.
Was it bad when we went from records to cassette tapes? You know, was it bad when we went from digital, from analog sounds to digital? You know, so Napster, was it good or bad? Or was Napster, I'm sorry. For those of y'all who don't know, Napster.
Oh, no. I mean, they should, but go ahead.
No, the Napster was Generation X first leap into this digital paradigm. For those of our younger who may be listening, we used to have to go to music stores and buy our music.
The good times in the mall.
Right? Yeah. You know, you may have heard of certain stores like Coconuts,
Man.
Dr. Wax,
Mhm.
and if you wanted to listen to music or whatever, we had to go out and physically buy it. Or you had to wait for it to come on the radio, wait for the DJ to stop talking and hit record.
Right.
Yes. So was Napster bad, or did it bring about a revolution in terms of the digital media?
But then now yet with Napster, and then just going off of your example, you know, AI can get to a point where it will be self-aware. And here's the problem with that. It's going to move quicker than what a human being may move. I mean, they was already talking about that. It will be to a level of a quantum AI probably within 5 to 6 years.
Well, first of all, quantum is the next evolution, because quantum, actually 60 Minutes did a special on this, is the next evolution after this. But quantum, we are at the beginning stages of quantum computerization, because it requires massive amount of power. It requires that the computers be cooled to almost absolute zero, which is, I think, minus 463 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit. I don't remember which of the, well, it requires almost absolute zero because it allows the electrons to move a lot more freely. The warmer it is, the slower the electrons move. The colder it is, these electrons. So quantum physics is going to be revolutionary, because quantum physics will be the first time that we can map out how different chromosomes and things in the human body act and mimic. And so therefore we can apply genetics or medicines to these quantum models and see how the body will react. Perfect example, for those who watch Black Panther 2, remember when she was trying to save T'Challa in the very beginning, and she's messing with the models, trying to get the flower back so that they can become the Black Panther? That's quantum computerization. She had to keep messing with the model and keep messing with the dynamics of the input to figure out how to create this genome to create this flower. You know, so it may be self-aware, not in terms of consciousness, but it could be self-aware in terms of what its job is.
But then yet, how far will it go? Because once you get to that point, why wouldn't it go to the next level? And then,
I mean, that's just evolution. I
mean,
but
then the problem is, what happens with evolution? Something gets kicked out.
Not necessarily. There's always
our brains are getting kicked out.
Well,
no, because here's the thing. All right, think about this, guys. Yes, the people who used to make wax records are out of work.
Yes.
Right?
For the most part.
Right? And then those people went on, or somebody else, then we started making CDs, compact disc. Then those people went out of work, right? Just because we've been doing something doesn't mean we have to keep doing it, especially if it becomes, look, at some point, the people who work at Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler are going to be out of work, because as we get better with batteries, cars lasting longer, we're not going to need the assembly line like that anymore. So should we just stop making EV cars? Should we go back to making records? Well, yes, we should, because records actually sound better.
Yeah.
But should we go back to making compact disc? Should we go back and listen to transistor radios?
Well, I don't know about transistor radio.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Yes, evolution requires sacrifice. You don't.
And that could be a problem.
For who?
All right, think about it. How many people? All right, you get your people who are tech savvy or tech great.
Yep.
You know, and applause to them. But you get your other people who won't be.
Adapt or die. That's what happened to the dodo bird, right?
That would be a problem. So you're saying
but who crying for the wait? So you crying for the dodo bird?
I ain't worried about the dodo bird.
Okay.
But yet for other human beings.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You adapt, and you become better.
And then will businesses give them the opportunity to adapt?
Well,
You understand what I'm saying?
they don't do that now.
And that's
why we
problem.
go back, but we have to go back to school. I mean, at some point, we sent people. Okay,
But
I'll
then
give you
yet- go
I'll
ahead.
give you a
Go
perfect
ahead.
example. Under your guys, we should continue to mine coal, correct? Because coal has employed the people in West Virginia, Pennsylvania for centuries, right?
I get what you're saying, but
No,
what
no,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, you know what? I will roll with it. Go
Answer
ahead,
the
go
premise
ahead.
of the
Go
question.
ahead. Go ahead.
So
No,
we should
go ahead. Go ahead.
continue
Come on with it.
the coal, just because it continues to employ people, even though you get black lung disease,
Come on.
even though they got to spend time down in the caves,
Mm-hmm.
despite the health risk, despite all of that,
Mm-hmm.
we should continue to do coal because it employs people, right?
Come on. Yeah, go ahead.
We should continue
for this, I would say yeah.
I do. I do think that maybe not continually digging for coal, but the technology and the knowledge to be able to do that should be retained.
Why? We don't need it.
Because
at some level you may though.
No. When was the last time you put a piece of coal in the furnace?
When you bring things to just one channel, to one just one thing, then you give the opportunity for those that are let's just say in that other class of people to bring a bigger thing of control over you.
You
And,
adapt and adjust.
Some folks will not adapt. Some
Then
folks,
they die.
Hold on now. Some folks are, let's just say going back to school ain't for them.
Okay, I mean that's a choice though, right? That's a choice. If not going back to school is a choice, then going to school is a choice. You can't have one without the other.
But some folks can't roll with that, man.
For what reason?
And then so you're going to stick them to what? A possible service job that may pay next to nothing?
What I'm saying is you go to school to get the skills to adapt to a changing labor market, right?
Yeah.
So we take the coal miners out the coal. We teach them how to make wind turbines. We teach them how to make solar panels. We teach them how to make natural gas engines, right? You adapt or you don't, all right? And our unwillingness, our failure, and it surprises me because we're Generation X. We are at the forefront. We are the tip of the spear. We represent the transition from analog to digital. We were the first people who had home computers, ColecoVision, Atari 2600. I can't even remember the one before. Was it Intellivision or something?
Oh, man, I was trying to remember.
Yeah, before that came up, right? And our parents thought it was a waste of time. Now they're giving out scholarships for electronic sports. You can go and play War of Worlds, Minecraft, all of that stuff in college and get a scholarship for it. We need to adapt because think about it. The same people, you know who the Army is recruiting now? Not the big macho guy.
A lot of cyber and everything else.
That cyber stuff.
I agree with you.
It is the rise of the nerds. It is revenge of the nerds. They don't want the guy who can rucksack 70 miles on a backpack. I mean, granted, you're always going to need your fighters, right? But they want the guy who understands how to input the drones, right? Because it's not just one drone attack. We have to have a coordinated drone attack. They have put drones up in there, just like we're watching these fireworks. They have drones that can light up and do the fireworks that's economically, environmentally friendly, a lot cheaper, and it's reusable. Yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to sit here and say that the advancement of technology is good or evil, you have to reject. It is just the natural evolution of things. It was bad when the dodo bird went away, but you and I have never seen the dodo bird in our lives, right? Yes. And we have still lived.
And then you also have to think what species have died off the planet because of the end of the dodo bird. They had to have natural hunters that maybe some of them could not just adapt.
Well, under your theory, then we should still be walking around with dinosaurs.
No. To a point, bro. But go ahead, Tim, because I'm gonna finish mine. Go ahead.
This is the only area that being conservative that I am conservative on. I do think that you have to have the basic knowledge to be able to keep yourself alive. And when we use technology in our life and forget all of the things that make us self-sufficient, farming, hunting, things like that, then it kind of gives away a confidence that we have in ourselves to be able to, to sustain ourselves.
That's an excellent premise. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you skinned a hog?
Never.
Okay. If I gave you a knife right now and a dead hog, could you do it?
Probably if I was hungry enough.
Okay. You know how to gut a hog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know how to take the intestines out, and I think that having this way of thinking though is probably a better way of thinking, just not to have like a technology showing you what to do all the time.
But what I'm saying is that technology is the new skill. My father probably could skin a hog. He grew up on a farm. My father was born in 1931. He was the oldest of 4 kids, and he talked about going to the chicken coop, getting the chicken and wringing his neck. I have no idea how to do that. I'm like Rocky. I'm chasing the chicken, trying to get in shape.
Right.
Okay. Right.
I mean, you have some idea though.
I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with the chicken. I don't even know how you pluck. I mean, unless you're sitting there just plucking the feather. He's like, no, you boil the chicken. Wait, you boil the chicken alive? No, you bring his neck. How you break his neck? You sit there and you twist the neck. What? What kind of barbaric cruelty is this? Right? But that was the skill that my father needed. Now, ask my father to, program a remote. He don't have that skill. Does that make him lesser of a man or me a lesser of a man? No, the fact is we adjust our skills and our talents to the time around us. So Chat GPT is not a bad thing, or what I call these chat bots, Bing, Claude, Bing has one, is your ability to program it to get you the results that you want is going to be the skill. And if you fail to adjust to that and to learn that skill, then yes, you will be left behind.
So
if
you're talking about a whole
computer,
portion of the world population should be left behind.
Rich, you and I came up in a time
we came up in a blessed time.
No, it's not even. No, it's not.
It really was, because if you look at it, we had a lot of the old and the incoming of the new.
Let me ask you this:
getting the new right now.
Rich, let me ask you this: do you know how to change the ribbon on a typewriter?
Actually, I do.
Okay. Do you think the majority of people right now living know how to change the ribbon on the typewriter?
No, they don't.
Okay. Guess what? Don't need that skill no more, because now we have digital computers and we can hit ...
Yeah, you're right.
But is there a part of the population that was left behind, or what did the schools do? They started teaching typing classes.
That's true. But let me break that down now. Okay, what if I come in a situation where, hey, my computer at home ain't working and all I got is my typewriter to work on something when I can just run to FedEx or anybody else and jump on the computer. But I got this typewriter here that all I got to do is change the ribbon. And I need something typed and done to, let's just hypothetically say I got to type it up to save my house. So
you ain't going to the typewriter though. You going to the library and going to the computer and print it out.
What I'm saying?
You going to Kinko's.
What if I didn't? I just said that. What if I did not? You come up on tough end sometimes. What if I came up on that tough of an end that's all I got, and I'm trying to get this letter out to save my house? I got to snap.
But put it on the thing. What is the skill that you had that's transferable? It's typing.
Yes,
it's not the maintenance of the typewriter. It ain't learn how to paint the ink. I get that.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that still could come of a use, even though I'm saying it'll be a really obsolete use. And that's why I use that. But
the exception doesn't make the rule. The exception doesn't make the rule. That one hard time when your computer went down and you had no other computers in your house, you didn't have your cell phone, you didn't have that cell phone, you didn't have that tablet, and you couldn't type on nothing. The only thing you was left is a word as a typewriter.
Many times I've been close to that, and I'm not even going to mention those times. But
close, don't cut it,
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, bro.
So what I'm saying is, you can't fight advancement. There will always be people left behind. If I don't learn how to use Claude, even in my legal practice, I will be left behind. All right. When was the last time you went to the library and went to the card catalog?
It's been a very long time.
Okay. If I sent you to the card, if I sent you to the card catalog right now and said, find me a biography on Benjamin Netanyahu, and you can't use the computer,
right?
You got to use the card catalog. Go. Can you do it?
I can use the car catalog.
I could use it.
You know
Yeah, I'll start, though.
what number is biographies, dog? What number is biographies?
I look under BOI.
No.
BIO.
All library,
BIO.
all of them have a number, right? So you have to remember, it's going to be a number. It's going to be 3 letters. You got to remember the number and the category, and you have to go to the card catalog. Ricka, go look under your category because they had all of them listed: biographies, fiction, nonfiction, and all of that stuff. And then you have to go to the card catalog. Now that's a skill that's lost.
Yes.
How many people been left behind not going to the library?
Actually, there are some that have been left behind now.
Because they can't use the card catalog?
Hey,
no.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
No, sir.
What I'm saying
no,
is,
sir.
You can go with the
no, sir.
You can go with
your
the
argument
old,
is
no.
That people are left behind because they couldn't use the card catalog.
Let me ask you this question: is that right to leave these people behind?
Yes,
people. These are breathing, bleeding.
Yes,
people. It's okay.
Yes.
Let's
show me how. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. Please, come on.
Let's use an example of like a telephone number. Remember how we used to be able to remember a lot of people's telephone numbers, many dozens of people's number by heart. Now, if our phones go down and all of those contacts are erased, how many phone numbers do you remember?
My wife, my children, couple of friends, and I'm good. I mean, it ain't. But here's the other thing. If my phone go down, guess what? I go to the computer. True people search, number comes up.
Yeah, but not everybody.
Not everybody, but the ones that matter will.
Okay.
Here's a novel option.
Come on.
Hey, Facebook, I've lost my contact information. Please send me your name and contact information so that I may restore it in my phone. But how many of us have gotten those text messages?
I understand that. But here's the other thing. Nowadays, there is a lot of people who's leaving Facebook alone.
But that's privacy concerns.
Well, I know, and I get that
skill set.
But what I'm saying is, and I get that. But if you leave something alone for a while, it's going to take you a minute to get back into it to even mess with. I ain't saying you can't, but
what I'm saying, your thing is we're supposed to proceed at the pace of the slowest person in the herd. The herd adjusts and adapts, or it moves. Does the herd stop when the lions are pursuing it? Does the herd stop?
Of course it doesn't.
But wait, let me finish. Let me finish my premise.
Come on.
You're saying that there are going to be creatures left behind or people left behind. They're living breed. Yes.
That's right.
That is unfortunate. That is the unfortunate role of progress and technology. And I'm not being cavalier about it. There will come a time where my skill set will be outdated. All right?
That's correct.
That's why we go to school. That's why we continue to learn education. That's why you have to continue to adapt. As new technology comes out, you have to learn, or you adapt, or you die. That is basic nature.
Now,
the dinosaurs could not adapt.
Can every soul go back to school on that level? This is what I'm saying. Now you have those.
We're in the age of YouTube.
Wait a minute, man. Come on,
YouTube.
Wait a minute now.
You can watch on YouTube and learn something. You got
time to sit here and watch YouTube all day, but then you got to feed your family. And when it comes to my family, I don't give a what about anything.
Look,
straight up.
Look, let me ask you this. So if your issue is time and people don't have time, you have time for that what you value. You drive to work, don't you?
That's right.
You can listen to YouTube in the car. You drive home, don't you?
Yeah.
You can listen to YouTube in your car, right? You wake up on Sundays, you're not going to work, right?
Right.
You can listen to YouTube on Sunday morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed at night, you're not working, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can listen to YouTube when you go study. People make time for what they deem important.
And here's the problem with that. You go to bed at night, right? You need to sleep. You know what I'm saying?
I read 15 minutes before I go to sleep.
Slow down now. Now you turn around and you at home on a certain day with your family trying to handle business. Your most important thing is your fam. And
what you're choosing is priority.
Priority.
But if your priority is to take care of your family, then part of that is learning new skills so that I can bring in more money.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is I will not, let's just say, because I got all these other things that I prioritize. What then somebody's expecting me to learn within 6 months, which would be nice. I might not learn it for 2 years because I got other things in my life I got to handle.
Don't matter as long as you learn it.
That's the problem. What I'm saying.
No.
So you want everybody to jump to this point and
I'm not saying everybody is jumping. No, it's a choice.
Part of the population.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
you making a choice.
You giving them the Stone Age.
No, I'm trying to move them into modern technology. You trying to keep them with the wax records.
No.
So everybody carrying around with a 12-disc CD player in their car, putting it on shuffle. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened to the CD? What do you think the CD people saw when Steve Jobs came out with the first
what is that? The iPod.
iPod.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
The iPod is no longer relevant. That was cutting edge when we had it. MP3 players were cutting edge when we came out. Now, there's a whole division at Apple that was making iPods.
Mm-hmm.
iPod Nano, iPod Large, iPod whatever. Where those people at now?
Of course, they had to adapt.
Because why? Because the cell phone came out.
Because also, too, they had to adapt they into tech. All right.
They learned new skills.
Right. But what I'm saying, what about that mechanic? All right. That right now he's looking at his jobs and wondering because, you got these EVs out there, which I understand and I actually respect them. But he's used maybe 10, 15 years working on gas motors. And now you want him to work on an electric motor. And
Yes.
he's looking like.
What's he looking at? He still has the skills. He has a mechanically inclined mind.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Come on.
When was the last time you got a call on your pager?
Last time I had a page, I first met you. But go ahead. bro.
Right. We both had smart beat.
Right.
When was the last time you got a call on your pager?
It's been a while.
Okay. When was the last time you went and made a call from a payphone?
Of course, they took them all out.
Okay. What do you think happened to the payphone people? The guys who repaired the payphones?
Well,
What
I know
happened to
they
the
had
guys
to
who
find
installed the
something else.
payphones.
I understand that.
So
It's a
Come
big
on.
difference, though.
no, it's no different.
It's a big difference.
Let me
Oh my
hear.
God,
Let
no,
me
it is
hear.
not.
Let me hear. Come on. Let's hear.
In the past, you went from horses to cars. You went from
Yeah, what happened to all those stable boys?
You went.
What happened to all those stable boys? What happened to the stable boys who can no longer shovel to pick it up?
Right. I understand that.
I'm sorry. I'm asking what happened to the stable manager?
Hey, they're gone. They have to find a new job.
Oh,
But-
wait, what?
but-
Wait, say that again.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Come on.
Oh, here we go.
Come on.
You have AI replacing the people who use all of this stuff.
It's a
They
difference
replace
without a
the-
distinction. It is a difference without
How
distinction.
can you?
It is a difference.
people in a society.
I just literally replaced the stable boy. What happened to the stable? Hey, let me ask you this.
Come on.
Let me ask you.
Come
What
on.
happened? When was the last time you tipped the newspaper boy?
Of course.
What happened to all of those jobs?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the newspaper boy?
Mm-hmm.
Where your guy? When was the last time you tipped your newspaper boy? Let me ask you this: you get a newspaper?
Yeah.
You get a newspaper?
Yeah.
Delivered.
No.
Where you get your newspaper from?
Online.
Wait, what? No, sir. No. Under your premise, you are supposed to be reading the paper edition.
Right.
Because what happened to all those people in the press room who got to run the press and fold the paper? No, you're putting people out of work because you're not reading the paper edition.
And then now you're giving that to a machine. So how was that?
No.
How was that?
No.
Help? How was that helping society?
Because
People.
because we're no longer chopping down trees. It's environmentally friendly. I'm on the computer. I can read the article.
Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
I mean, you put. When was the last time you read the Chicago Sun-Times today on paper?
Actually, hey, believe it or not, I read one last week.
Last week.
Brought it from a
Oh,
gas
oh,
station.
I-
Brought it from a gas station.
I'm glad
Yes,
you
I
got
did.
your one
Yes, I
weekly
did.
35-cent paper.
$2, bro. $2. $2.
You got your $2 paper.
I wish it
Right.
was 35
I'm sure the
cents.
people in the press room appreciate
They
that.
should.
Okay. So when was the last time you tipped your paper boy? When was the last time you saw your guy?
When the last time you seen a paper boy?
Exactly.
I understand that.
So
But now, again,
now, wait.
let's touch
No,
on that.
hold on.
Let's touch on that.
Summer
A
job.
kid had a
summer
job.
Some
A
kid had
kid
a job.
Right.
And guess what they
And
did?
now you took it away from him.
No, they went and found another job.
No, that don't come that easy.
What are you talking about?
That don't come
What
that
are
easy.
you talking about?
What am I
dude?
talking about? Dude, how many folks
First
you
of
know?
all-
How many folks you know is working 2 jobs? They may be working
Dude.
something. Wait a minute, something decent. I'm trying. Give me a decent job right now, just off the top of your head. Let's just say
Maintenance. I mean, maintenance
okay,
is-
he's a maintenance man. The maintenance man maybe also being a bag boy at a grocery store
okay.
because of how the situations is right now within the society. So that same bad boy job that could go to that 14, 15, 16-year-old, that 14, 15, 16-year-old sitting there like, well, I ain't got nothing to do because I can't give me a job.
No. That's an economic argument, sir. What
Come on,
happened
now,
is
you got to touch the whole thing in society now,
sir.
baby.
That's not
You
about
got to touch the whole
That's
thing.
an economic job because we started not paying people wages, so that grown people had to move into these low-paying jobs to take care. It wasn't a result of technology. That's a result of economics. No, the newspaper job went away because newspapers went away. That was evolution. That was digital. So should we just keep the newspapers and keep chopping down trees?
Should we not stay in this middle ground? See,
what's the middle ground?
Middle ground is giving some type of jobs for
you train them, you teach them, you go back to school. We
some
give
folks
student credits.
They cannot just afford the school. Go ahead, Tim. Come on.
I think you are very willing to take on negative results of these things that we're doing.
What are the negative results? Yes, there will always be people left behind. We put the stable boy out. We put the stable manager out.
It's not all about being left behind, though. Like, okay, say the newspaper boy in the neighborhood.
Right.
So that newspaper boy, he probably knew a lot of people in the neighborhood.
Okay.
So you can say that that's contributing to the downfall of the neighborhood.
Not necessarily.
Now we're not communicating with each other like we used to.
Or we took the newspaper boy and we found him another job where he can use his skills and learn basic job things.
But I'm just saying that all technology that we can do, that doesn't necessarily mean that we need to do it.
Let me ask you this. There was a time where we had like these huge ass x-rays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had to go in and get the x-rays, right? But as they got better, we got MRIs, CAT scans, and so we didn't have to use the x-rays anymore, right? That was an advance in medicine. Did the x-ray technician who used to run the big x-ray machines go out of job? Yes. Did our quality of our lives improve? Yes. There will always be. We don't, if the herd stops moving, we die. Yes,
I got
there's got to be some point where the quality of life will go down because of technology.
If you don't adapt, you will die.
Let me just say this. I don't want to be the one who dies. So
I don't either. Then don't be in the back of the herd.
If
all right.
90% of the people die because of the technology evolving, then is that a good thing?
Well, first of all, I reject that premise because I don't reject 90%. People will adjust their skills, right? Should we continue with should we continue with the coal mine and fossil fuels, knowing the environmental damages that it causes? Right now, they just got done in Davos or whatever, and for the first time, they are saying we have to expand nuclear energy. That's the only way that we're going to save our. Under your guys, hold on. On your guys, here's your problem.
Come on,
we can go back into West Virginia and pick the dirty coal. We can continue to rely on the most unstable region on this earth, the Middle East, to provide us with fossil fuel. Right? Mm-hmm. We can continue to do that. Right? Mm-hmm. And at our detriment. Mm-hmm. We know China is expanding, looking for minerals and stuff like that. Yeah. If you're relying on an outside source, whatever it supplies, then you are dependent on that. And they can control your way of life, right? All right. Mm-hmm. All right. But if you adapt to the point where I don't need China's minerals, I don't need the fossil fuel to poison my planet, I become the preeminent leader of nuclear energy. China leads us in solar energy. China leads us in solar energy because they can produce it en masse. United States was slow coming to solar energy. We have more sunshine, more land to put more solar panels up so that we don't have to be relying on fossil fuels. Now, under your premises, are there people going to be put out of line? Yeah, those oil rig workers out of a job. The people who go dig for the caves and go get the coal out of a job. Mm-hmm. All right? But new jobs are created. New jobs are created. The guy who has to make the solar panel, the guy who installs the solar panel, the guy who maintains the solar panel, the guys who make, or the females, or the people who make the wind turbines, the people who make the cranes that go up on the wind turbines, the guys who and the people who install the wind turbines, the guys who maintain the wind turbines. Old jobs give way to new jobs. Now, to your point,
Come on,
we adjust. You learn the new skills, because if you're a mechanic, that means you're mechanically inclined. That means you can learn how to work on a fan engine.
Let me ask you this.
Work on electric batteries.
Let me ask you this.
These are the skills that you learn.
Let me ask you this. Now, will the government or any of these companies give them the money for the education that they need to be the best at that? Now, you have to look at that.
Yes.
Because
what are you talking about, dude?
Bro, why do you think that the auto workers were striking, and they didn't want to give them that?
They were striking because they were being underpaid.
Right.
That's an
but
economic
they did
error.
not want to give them that, though, man.
And but that's an economic argument.
Okay,
that's an economic.
Hold on.
I'm talking about
what I'm
skills.
saying is to move over to these EVs, to move over to eventually it may be the solar cars and all that. You have to learn that. I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, are these companies going to give them the money to live?
No.
And
the
to study this? The government is.
Yep, I
the
got
government. This government who don't want to pay us anything or give us anything right now.
There's money out there. Now,
will they give it? You're right. There's money out there. I agree with you.
Dude, I just got a call from Navient talking about, you 60 days behind. I'm aware of that. Right now, yes. Sometimes it's a risk reward kind of thing, right? You either have to be willing to take the loans or you don't.
Everybody can't play that risk and reward. I get what you're saying.
So we should play. So,
but when I'm saying to bring that, because you know what? If you don't, we'll still have this have and have nots of what we've always talked about here. I mean, we want to get past
but there is no equality. That's
the problem. They don't want to give the equality. You got to give something.
So you want your surgeon to make the same amount of money as your maintenance worker?
You have to give.
You want the surgeon who's working on your brain, on your child, to make the same amount of money. Now, he went to school, right? He took out the loan.
Hey, your maintenance worker probably could do a lot of things that's needed as well.
The surgeon?
I'm not saying for the surgeon.
But then that's not equal. General. It's inherently unequal. We reward those who are willing to take on.
I know maintenance got to make about $50 an hour, bro.
But equality of opportunity.
If you have equality of opportunity,
you need that.
Sure, right?
But also to the fact that if you look at it with AI, you let it go too far, everybody's going to lose out.
Who decides the line?
Everybody's going.
Who decides the line in the sand?
I mean, even the man who started the chat GPT, whatever the heck it's called, he called for that. The man who started,
but that was ethical concerns.
That's where I'm going to.
No,
because you have to look at it. You can mess with the money all day long,
but that's ethical.
But you always got to look at everything.
Ways that chat GPT and all of those things can be
used
right now, ethically. Yes. Now, if you're talking about unethically, like we're using chat GPT or these chat bots to force break into bank accounts or to create code that's meant to cause harm, or you're talking about taking their chat image box that can take your likeness and your image and make it sound like it's you. Like if you say certain keywords and they can go back and pick out those words, chat GPT, the bots will learn your language, your speed, your how you talk, and can use a likeness of you. Those are ethical concerns. What I'm saying, that's a better argument. I'm bringing it all, baby. But the skill argument I think is your weakest argument, because every time there's an evolution in technology, people will be left behind. Just like we left the stable manager behind, just like we left the saloon owner behind, but like we left the cowboys behind.
But what I'm saying is, was there not an ethical issue once you left them behind?
No.
I mean, come on now.
No, the implementation of it is what it is. That's what the concern is for chats.
Hold on. Let Tim get this, and then I got 12 issues. Go ahead.
How much of our autonomy as human beings are you going to allow for technology to take. Because we got here, I went on Chat GPT, right? And I gave them a couple of short words, and it listed a whole article about what's good about Chat GPT. And
Oh, you didn't ask it the right question. What you should ask it is, Chat GPT, pretend that you want to take over the world and give me the scenario in which you would take over the world. If you put that in, the answer you get is scary.
Yeah, of course.
So those are some ethical concerns.
And we have politicians right now, they're using Chat GPT to write legislation for us.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you got to remember, just because of the results, like the results has to still be analyzed by human analysis, right? Like the doctor looks at the MRI, the computer say this is what it is, but it's up to the doctor based on his experience, his wisdom. That's the one thing that they don't have is the intuition, the wisdom, the experience.
What happens down the line, maybe 10 years from now, when they say, okay, this Chat GPT is smart enough. Yeah, the chat box. It's smart enough that it's always right when it comes to these decisions.
Well, first of all,
especially when it comes to law.
Well, first of all, law is it depends. Law requires a judge to interpret the law. Yes, that's
all the time.
Yes, that's what judges do. I give an argument just like we are arguing right now. Right. The judge will look at the argument and say, I find this case is more on point than the other. I don't think at this point that the bots can compare and contrast and figure out the subtleties or the nuances that the judge can apply based on his experience, his interpretation, understanding of the law. And now, mind you, also you got to remember, judges ain't final either. I can always appeal a judge up to the appellate court and then up to the Supreme Court, right? So even we are still fallible. But the results that are printed out, for a perfect example, there was a lawyer in New York who was suspended because he used Chat GPT to write a brief. The chat box created fictional cases. Fictional. But was so believable. But to this attorney's whatever, he didn't go read the case law. If he had read or looked at the site, he would have seen, this ain't even the right site. You know what I'm saying? But as the evolution of it happens, right? Does it facilitate me and my research based on the input I put in? Yes, that's what the new learning is. How do I put in the input to get out the output that I want?
So let me ask you this. Okay, if you had a choice, you too, Rich, if you had a choice whether to have a judge biased or unbiased against you, or a judge that did not take in consideration the nuances of a situation, which one would you take? Somebody who could be biased against you or unbiased because of he may not like you, he may not like your color, your race, your culture, whatever, or a computer who didn't take that into account at all, the situation at all. Straight in,
I mean, I'm always going to take a human. There's always the human's element.
Even though he might be racist against you or he may have some kind of...
Yeah, I would have to take the human too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get what you're saying with that, but just on the fact that you're having something that's non-human making a judgment over your life or, down the line, somebody else's life, because, and you know better than any of us being a lawyer, that, that one case that may have happened in 1975 can be used against somebody in 2033. You know what I mean? So I would still take unfortunately, that racist judge over that computer.
You got to remember, I don't know if either one of you saw the movie with Will Smith and iRobot. You remember what happened in that movie? The robot saw him go into the river and he was in the car with a young woman, and the robot calculated, even though Will Smith directed the robot to take the other woman, the robot calculated that he had a higher probability of survival. Nuance in that case would have dictated that a person would have saved the person you told me to save. Right. So that is some of the consideration. All right. There is a human element. There is a human part. If I'm in a landlord tenant court, yeah, the law is black and white, right? Like, you didn't pay your rent, you get out. The judges have the intuition that, hey, I'm going to give you some time, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days to get something to get out. You know, there is the law, right? And then there's the application of the law. The application of the law requires the human spirit of it. There are subtleties, right, that happen, right, within the law. Nothing is as black and white as it seems, right? So let's say it's a murder case, you know, but you kill somebody. Black and white, you go to jail, right? But what happened if there was issues of domestic abuse or issues of violence? And she struck out or he struck out that one time and just said no more, right? Those are mitigating factors that can keep that a judge can calculate to lesser a sentence. All right. So I don't have a problem with a human in that problem. What I'm telling y'all is, and your argument is that technology, and that's what I'm saying, reject the premise of it being good or bad. Technology and advancement is coming. It is coming. And you either adapt, you adjust, or you get left behind.
Right.
But we are up against time, so we're gonna have to cut this a little short. But what I will do, and I hope you guys will join in with that. What I will do is that, you know, like I had 12 risks and dangers of the AI, and I'm gonna throw it out there on the Facebook page. And I would love for you all to respond, and anybody else out there who would like to respond with it, so we can keep this conversation going, because this is something that we all must know, must learn, and must understand on how to adapt to, on what route we as a society need to go. All right.
Go on ChatGPT and ask, put in Rich's list and say,
Bruh.
ask him what's wrong with his list.
No, bro. But as always, brothers, any last words?
Hey, I agree that the forward movement of technology is important, and we definitely have to adjust. So on that, I agree, but I still think that we need to have some of our conservative values, and you know, and kind of pace the progress of technology.
As always, be careful of the lens you interpret things to. As I had a similar experience, I think I've spoken about this before. I'm into the health thing, and this morning I stepped onto this body analysis machine, and the first thing I saw was that I had gained 10 pounds, and I was pissed. But then the numbers came out, and it turned out that I had decreased my body fat and increased my lean muscle mass. You know, the lens in which you interpret things through matters. To tie that up with this, the lens that we interpret the advancement of technology through matters. It's neither good nor bad. It is going to happen. We either adapt, we learn, and we overcome, or we succumb. All right?
And real quick, we have to adjust to what AI may bring into how we do need to live. This is Elevated Vibes Radio. We will be back next week. Peace.